And there I and there I am. I'll bring you. Okay, great. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is a live stream, and I'm just kind of going. You know, something when you're doing something new and you're nervous about it. One of the best things you need to do is just do it. I don't tend to like to have a script, and I don't have one now, but I am online here for a reason. I want to do some communication. We are in a time of a super, I think, opportunity to do something wonderful, to do something beautiful, to do something that makes everyone actually happy, feeling better than they feel now. And it it's about making a change in our world. We change our paradigms. We are so set on looking at the problems and complaining about them and being concerned about them. And there's a lot to be concerned about, but it's not because there aren't solutions. It's just that well, we may be convinced that the problem, or we're trying to convince people of the various problems and also assign blame. And we oftentimes don't look into the mirror at ourselves, not so much as a problem, but so much in the sense of what are we doing to feel good about one ourselves, about our life, and also about the future. But it begins in the now. So I did a video a few weeks ago, and I'm going to do this little note since since it's not this isn't scripted, so I'm just kind of going as I'm going, but I'm going to do this just as right now. Um, so let me do this real fast. I'm live streaming. Woohoo! Hoot de doo. So, what prompted me to do this are a number of things. I've done a number of videos on this platform called CoopCrowd, and I started a few months ago actually, and I've talked to a whole bunch of people who I know who have some regard for my point of view, I guess I want to say, and things that I've done, and yet have not yet found the inclination to actually get active. And on the other hand, some who have either haven't done anything yet or have done some things and no one has said yes. And I totally get it. I totally understand and appreciate it. And so I want to actually support everyone, but I want to begin by having a conversation about it. First of all, it's two things. I'm going to start with some feedback that I got on a video that I did. Um, Maybe it's a few weeks ago now, because the note from the viewer was 11 days ago, and I just saw it this morning. So, and this gives me a chance to actually practice this platform. So even if no one is watching, okay. So uh, the video that I did is called "Trust Yourself. You are the value creator." All right, and it's about 53 minutes long, which is on the short side for me sometimes. Hopefully, I'm not going to be that long this time, but I want to give some perspective. And this is a good place to start. Uh, the viewer basically said, well, you started well on Drip. And now Drip is a platform I've got some videos on, and I kind of have told my story about that. So I won't do that here. And then I got into trust. So he was okay there. So Drip and trust, he's fine with. But then pitching some MLM pyramid, he's talking about pyramid scheme. Come on, stick to Drip and Animal Farm. Drop those pyramid schemes. So that was his reply to me. And this is a good place to start. And I want to start with my response. And then I'll get into some more other things because I wrote this out for him, but it's worth sharing. So here you go. I'm not the short-winded kind of guy. So anyway, thank you for writing. I just saw this, so I apologize for taking such a long time to respond. So here goes. I know what a quote unquote pyramid scheme is and what isn't. Co-op crowd works in a fundamentally different manner than drip and delivers greater financial returns faster with less effort and less expense. In fact, there's a set amount that applies to everybody. It's a cooperative, so there is no you got more and you can get more from the system because you put more in, etc. It doesn't work that way. Just invite three people and help them to do the same thing. That's not a pyramid. It's financial empowerment for each person that does it. Co-op crowd doesn't require anyone to deposit large amounts, but everyone who simply invites three and assists them in inviting three too creates a stream that keeps coming. We're talking about a stream of income that keeps coming. The co-op wallet, that's another part of co-op crowd. You got this cooperative platform and a central and an integral piece of that platform is its own wallet. Now, I've used and I do use other wallets. I have the Exodus wallet, I have MetaMask, I have Phantom, which is on the Solana chain. I have other wallets. I have also some of the what they call the centralized wallets, such as PayPal. Um, I don't have Venmo. I do have the Cash App. Those are wallets too. Co-op Crowd has its own wallet. However, it's private for one thing, and your funds are available to you immediately. So the funds that are coming into you, that do come into you when you join, they are available to you immediately without someone passing judgment or coming up with some thought or, well, how did you get it? And needing to take some steps and do some their own study, but hold your funds while they're doing it. They are pegged to stable coins, which are backed by USD, which makes Co-op Crowd inflation, deflation, and intrusion proof. There's nothing else that I know of, at least, that can say that. This doesn't apply to drip, and this again, it's not about drip per se. It doesn't apply to your Coinbase wallet. It doesn't apply even to the Binance wallet or to the Crypto.com wallet. Certainly didn't apply to the FTX wallet, if you know what I mean. So this doesn't diminish drip in any way. Lack of confidence in crypto affects the drip price. And needless to say, it affects the price of all cryptos. That's one effect of the FTX debacle. It affected all cryptocurrencies by lowering investor confidence and serving as a reason for regulation, for them to kind of barge in and start taking over, so to speak. The let's see, which would be which would also affect drip and more so our privacy. Co-op crowd with its cooperative method, which is not in the investment quote unquote domain, and its wallet provides a rare opportunity for those who do not have large bags, so to speak, to build them. We're talking bags of funds, of cryptos, etc. If they want to dabble in other investment vehicles, they can. This is not either or. Okay. Both, no, excuse me, but most people simply want to have enough coming in on a regular basis, which Co-op Crowd, through its cooperative approach, does. It delivers on that. You could say that drip is also a cooperative system, because life is cooperative in that respect. So the issue might best be evaluated in terms of efficiency. Co-op Crowd does income flow generation more efficiently than any other platform. And I would even add, not just more efficiently, but also more securely than any other platform. It's a Web3 based wallet, and it is more secure. And again, you have that autonomy to do what you will with the funds that come to you. And they come to you as a result of your activity, not of your investment amount, but your investment quality, not in money, but in patience, in love, and courage. It's those are the things, because all it takes is just three people to join, and then you stick around, you stay involved to help the people that you join, to teach them, so to speak, and show them the way that they each have their three. You learn, you deposit, you learn, you learn how to do it, you know the process yourself, and then you show three others. That demonstrates and that solidifies that you have learned what you're talking about. And every time you are receiving, you make a deposit in the beginning, and you are essentially depositing, and you can say giving, like the sun gives to 10 other people. However, you get the tokens that are created with your gifts, so to speak, but you're receiving something. And those are tokens, these information packets, which you use to invite three other people to do just what you did. So that's your step one. Your step two is to be with them, to support the people that you invite so that they get their own three. Be present in their success, and supportive in helping them succeed at what they are attempting to do, because they're doing it for themselves. They're also doing it for you. And if they, first of all, succeed at doing this, when your three has their three, you will now have three people that are active. You will have actually nine, because they're not nine, you'll have nine new ones. So you'll have 12 who are active. At that point in time, and this could happen in a day, this could happen in 3 days, it could happen in a week, it can happen in a few months too, if you're me. But it doesn't have to take that long. In the beginning, and this is the beginning for Co-op Crowd, it's going to take the time it takes. The issue is whether you stick with it or not. I'm sticking with it, and I can afford to take the time I take to get to a point of saying it the way I want to say it, or at least having the energy enough that it moves people, that they can see it. So if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. When people start joining, and I really only need three who are active, I'm more concerned, as much as anything else, about helping anyone and all members who join this to get to a place that they have enough information, and they also have enough vision. I'm finding is that the vision, people don't see this. They don't have a vision for this. And part of their vision is clouded by negative perceptions and ideas and attitudes. And you know something? Co-op crowd is not it's not a problem for co-op crowd. It's a problem for the person that has the negative point of view. We as a society are conditioned and accustomed to focusing on problems, and then we seek solutions, but we don't see ourselves as part of the solution. And because we have put so much negativity out, we tend to lead with negativity. And negativity alone is its own blocks for the receipt of something positive to us. You can't expect to get something positive with a negative outflow. So I would presume and say that people who I feel are intrinsically um, good. I'll just use that term good. We've probably got a whole bunch of beneficial return that's sitting back waiting, that's been basically blocked by our own negative attitudes, in the sense that we've not been willing to do this. We've been critical of that. We've not believed, not so much in someone else, but in ourselves. You got to believe in yourself. You have to not let yourself down in order to make these things happen. You have to be the bridge for whatever good that you want to come to you. And when people are, if you're negative, you're not your own bridge, much less anyone else's. So if you're not feeling well, if you're not this, or if someone or something is encouraging or shocked that you're not sick and you think you ought to be, guess what? You will be, because you'll always be right about yourself. And so we've made a habit, and a lot of people make a good living out of getting people to look at someone else and judge them and root for them and root for them, and they get the love that you're not giving to yourself. So did I actually get to the bottom down of this thing here? I'm seeing here that it's having enough. The idea of having enough, the idea of wealth. First of all, I consider wealth as a spiritual thing first. It's not so much what the money that you have. It's the joy you have. It's the outlook that you have. It's the ability to um, be strong when people are telling you to be weak, to see something to be grateful for when people are telling you, there's nothing to be have any gratitude for. These are conscious choices that we make in spite of the evidence that might suggest, or the attitudes or the opinions of others who are oftentimes paid, who might suggest something else. However, let me get down to this last thing here. You could say that drip is also a cooperative system. I read that because life is. So the issue might be evaluated in terms of efficiency. Co-op crowd does income flow generation more efficiently than any other system. I realize I did read that before. It does so, but by not focusing on money, but on connection. It rewards modest success at connecting with tons of money. And you want me to ignore that? That's my question to my viewer, and and that's part of it. So I will take this down and now go to one other screen, because these are some of the things I know of many people, myself included, who have a desire to make a difference, to affect a change of some type in this world, and I'm talking a significant change to improve things. Um, Here's, for example, let me get to there. Now I'll bring this up. This is something I saw earlier today. This is an ecosystem of wicked problems. Okay. And this organization, these men have simply looked at the various things that are going on in our world and just put them down as ideas, and then started linking them here and there, etc. And, you know, war, inherited wealth, bunch of isms, okay? Extremism, racism, etc. Excess CEO pay, that's a problem for some, stock buybacks, etc. Showing the direction, poverty, jobs, lobbying, privatization, disease. And of course, these factors could have even different sizes to them in terms of relative. I mean, but these are all judgments, okay? Big oil, big pharma, big banks, the too big to fail oligarchies, big guns. I'd even add big merchandise. Okay. So these are, well, they're not problems. These are just ideas. These are uh, conditions. This is a description of conditions that are pretty much rampant in our society. And the people that put these together, here it is, Christian Sarker and Philip Kotler, uh, you know, bully for them. But here's the deal: these are all problems, and literally, you don't solve problems by focusing on them. The problems are what we see. These are the effects of things that we don't see, of factors, of conditions, and things like that that are happening on a personal level as well as an interactive level, an interdependent level, a way of thinking, as well as a collective level. This is the way we see it. And to one extent or another, it's what people are experiencing. I have talked about this recently, and I won't bring up the screen at this point in time, but I'm going to mention it where in 1.2% of the population of the planet control 48 some odd percent of what they call global domestic wealth, okay, household wealth. And that 48%, which is controlled by 1.2% of the population, which is 65 million people, and they calculate that as earning $1 million and up. Okay, so um, that 48% is valued at $221 trillion. Okay, so the rest of the world population, the 98.8%, is having or dealing with the 52% or the 51% or something like that, which would be another maybe 225 trillion or something like that. But that's spread across 8 billion people, okay, versus 65 million people. Now, you could say it's the them versus us situation, and they are the ones that need to be helping or helping us, so to speak. But to me, a better way of looking at this is has to do with the degree to which each one recognizes their own value, for one thing. We are the creators of value, not the dollar, not Bitcoin, not anything else, not cryptos. We tend to think that our value exists in the things that we have or that we want, okay? Because most people can't afford a lot of things that they want. And even getting back a little further here, I'll make another change while I'm talking about this. Let's see here. Here we go. We're going to just even shift this a little bit more. You do a search on YouTube for homeless in America, homelessness, and it doesn't have to be in America alone. But you talk about homelessness. This is um, I've been watching this video. This particular guy is in Los Angeles. I mean, he's taking a trip there and he's going through. I used to live in the Los Angeles area 20 some odd years, and I've been gone probably since I've been gone for about 20 years. Okay, now. However, these conditions, our society doesn't have an answer for this because, again, it's our thinking. The reason in fact, I brought that particular subject up is because it's one. It may have been on that list that we talked about before, but it's actually just an example of issues that we are not providing adequate results for or suggest. We're not doing it. And the thing about it is that it doesn't come from outside. It has to come from within. The beauty of co-op crowd, for me at least, one of the things that really made me start looking at it and seeing what the potentials were realizing that it did not work on the standard investor mindset. It's on a different level. It's not triggered by the amount of money you put in. Because typically, when we throw money at something, we're not throwing something else that's more important. There's no love involved. There's actually not much empathy. Oftentimes, the people that are sending money at things, they are motivated because they want to get more money from it, or they want to keep someone from doing something. Okay. So, what we have in that situation, when I talk about 1.2 million, uh, 1.2% of the population, with $221 trillion in value, so to speak, has to do more so with they have created a circuit of return. They they don't have a problem with money, that's for sure, but they have also created a return, a way for them to receive. So, they put out something, they receive something back. I'm not here to judge what they're doing. And frankly, it's that's not, I won't say it's not my business, so to speak. It's more of my business to know what I'm putting out so that I know what's coming back to me. We are a society that is accustomed to not only not taking care of our own circuit of beneficial return, but in addition to that, we put out negative. We lead with negative perceptions about things. We lead with skepticism. The best thing you can do instead of being skeptical and being proud of your skepticism is be neutral. Listen to people. Come to a place where I don't care what something showed up, how something came up before. I don't care how many times you've been burnt with something else when you're never going to be burnt again. Guess what? You're definitely going to get burnt again if you have that attitude. Being open minded, being neutral, allows you to look at something that you haven't seen before with fresh eyes, for one thing. And if you respect the person that is bringing it to you, then have a conversation with them. I have I know people that respect me, so to speak, who have chosen to stop so they don't even hear the whole of why this is something different. Not my problem. It's theirs, especially when they are in a position where they need what? Capital. So we are walking around with walls, with blocks, with obstructions that we have actually put around ourselves, to the point that those are energetic, if you will, the signals, the feeling that is necessary for making positive things occur and happen are simply not being put out from who? The originators. They are being mucked up. They are being combobulated or discombobulated. They've been distorted, or they simply have been not a willingness to hear something else. And so I'm sitting here. I'm seeing people that I care a lot about, and then there are people that I don't know, and I still care about them. When I show you pictures from Los Angeles or from wherever homelessness is, I saw one other video which said basically there are about 600,000 people that are in that state, so to speak, or who would be considered homeless. And you know something? There is the same kernel within each one of them that's in within you and I. And so, what I love about Co-op Crowd, what I think is significant about it, is that first of all, it involves each exercising qualities of their character that basically have been atrophying because people don't even seek the truth anymore. If someone who is being paid tells them some things, they don't stop and vet it. They don't stop and seeing and see the motive. They don't see the connection. Maybe they just choose not to see it. They choose to think, or they become convinced that it's better for them to simply just follow what's going on, and then they're paying the price. You need to be your own gatekeeper, and you need to love yourself enough that you respect yourself enough. See, love and respect go hand in hand. They also go with truth. True love is loving truth. Okay, they're not separate things that one that you can pull off and just take this part of it. It's the whole of it. When you look at what something is and how it works, you look at the whole of it. And yeah, you look at all the negative information, but you also do something else. You look within yourself, you feel, you also compare what things do to what is it that you want in life, What is your dream? What is your hope? What are your ambitions for yourself? Because as I told a friend of mine last night, I said, it's all a dream. That song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, uh, it's all a dream. Nightmares are dreams too. Some people are living what would be considered a nightmare. And the point basically, there's simply a dream too that we can all wake up from. But we have to wake up something that is within ourselves. It's within each of us. That is the point. That's what is not being done when we are simply investing and we are competing. We are uh, us versus theming, so to speak. It doesn't matter who the them is. The them, it doesn't exist. It's all an us, quite frankly and in truth. But the point basically is our methods may or not actually return to us the the bounty, the beneficence that we are seeking. But we have to know that we're putting it out. You have to knowingly be putting out what you want to come back to you. And then when you're willing, as a quote unquote investor, to put out, because why? You want money. If that's what you want, that's all good. That's fine. But it's a minefield, you know. Uh, Stunner, I I love you, man, and you say it's a solo sport. Crypto is a solo sport. It's not just crypto. I'd say investing is a solo sport itself because people are narrow in their thinking, they are competitive in their thinking, and they are about me and what I get. And I'm not saying this with any criticism whatsoever. The point is, it's not the only way to make quote unquote money. But when you care about someone else and you work a cooperative is not a solo sport. Cooperative is where each is doing the same thing and you are benefiting when you help someone else benefit too. You benefit, you do the things, you invite the three who activate, who deposit just like you did. And now you help each of the three that they invited, each of those nine more, you help them so that they get active as well. But then they will be helping their three in the same way. So you're passing on an attitude, you're passing on a behavior, you're passing on actually a pattern of succeeding. And what happens is that the funds will continue to flow back to you. And they'll continue to flow back to the people that you invite. And they'll continue to flow back to the people that they invite. And so on to 10 generations. You are giving in your donation to within the co-op crowd, your deposit into co-op crowd and your membership within it. You are literally giving to 10 other people in your lineage. You're giving to them every 28 days. And co-op crowd itself, the system is simply like a conveyor belt. All it does is just moves funds. It moves funds between the members. It moves those funds. And when you invite your three, as soon as they deposit, you are receiving. When they invite their three, as soon as those three deposit, they are receiving, and you are too. Okay. And it goes, except first you got three that are sending to you, then you've got 12 that are sending to you, then you have 39 that are sending to you. Every generation goes up by a factor of three to 10 generations. So without me laying out how much funds those that is, and the thing about it, it only sends funds if funds are there. It only does these things. You only receive if you are active and you are giving, and that's the way it is. So each is bringing someone in who is activating, therefore they are giving, and everyone is doing so. But it creates a matrix of high receivers, if you will, of great benefit that can be turned into and used in money because it's done in the crypto space, pegged to the US dollar. and it's inflation proof, etc., etc. So the possibility of empowering more and more people to have their own, first of all, their own funds, their own decision making, their own discretion of how to use it. This is something people are not used to because we've been very, very carefully trained to be suspect of such things and to think that it's not something that's a possible to us. This is all simply poppycock. It's really what it is, but it has become, it's been the norm for many, many generations. If you're going to change things, you're going to need to have some sovereignty. You're going to have to exercise some of your own. And there's no reason why you can't create your own. The people that were in that image, those videos that I showed you, that are in those, um, that are living in those tents and everything else, I'm sure, first of all, there are those there who would be willing, who would love the opportunity to actually begin inviting others to do this, to build their own. You could say it's not a nest egg, it's a flow of income. This is something that we could stand behind. This is something that we could actually build upon because these issues, these conditions exist all around the world. People are experiencing this. Some people much more dramatically even than this, but this is dramatic enough and is certainly close enough to home. And this can be done in any community, anywhere. That is just it's what makes this whole thing unique. So I think I've talked enough on this. This is my way of doing this. I see I only did 37 minutes, but it's co-op crowd. It's cooperation. It's exercising the love that's within you. It's you are deciding to do something positive in spite of habits that have been negative. And the truth is, the negative results that anyone gets is directly related to the negativity that predominates what they put out. It's got much less to do with inheritance and other things, because if the entire world changes and we become the most loving and everything else, but one person is sitting around thinking that, oh, these are all bad people, etc., they will still have that little wall around themselves and they won't let that love come in. Well, it's really not the love coming in, it's the love coming out. It's one thing to put your hand out in kindness to someone, but there's a point, the difference between a sense of entitlement to that or a sense of gratitude for it. It's all a matter of perspective, and these are habits. And many of those other habits have been modeled by people that folks listen to and they revere for some reason, and people are paying a big price for it all. So that's my shtick for the moment. See, once I get started, I'm pretty good, I think, at least. Thank you for watching, even though this will be a stream that looks like it didn't have any views at all, and that's all right. You'll show up when you show up. But thank you so much. Ponder these thoughts. I know you will. And if you are so moved, I welcome you. I invite you to join Co-op Crowd. My invitation link will be in the description below. And if someone else who's already a member suggested that you watch this video, then please get back with them and join them. I want to make it easy for everyone to network or to get together, so to speak, and put your hands together in threes by threes and get this change that your heart is asking for, you're seeking that change of that vision that's inside, to let it out, because that's where the solutions are right now. They're in our hearts, and they are brought out by our courage, by our empathy for each other, by our working with each other positively, harmoniously, not being competitive, etc., etc. So until next time, I will bid you adieu and say peace, be well, be prosperous, and I love you all.